ahead, and I opened the door and swung it open and said, have a look around. And he said, aren't you going to come in and show it to me? And I said, no, I'll just wait right here at the door. I said, we have a policy where, we're not allowed to go in unaccompanied with any men. So that solved that problem. So sometimes if you think things through in advance, you can avoid possibly dangerous situations.
And that's a perfect example where you could call me and I could bill you $100 or $200 for checking him out at a moment's notice on my Palm Pilot. I mean, you could just immediately call me and say, look, Robin, I don't feel good about this person. I need to know. And I'd say, okay, hold on 1 second. I'd pull it up on my Palm Pilot. I'd say, okay, I'm going to email you. I'm going to bill you $200. You say, fine. We pull it up. We see if he has any criminal, any civil, a different name, different social. He's from somebody else. And you could feel much safer than that and have that at a drop of a hat by just calling our 24/7 number, which is really, really good.
Well, it must be empowering to be able to get that information at any time on anybody. That would be reason enough to become a private investigator.
Yes, and it's all legal. I don't ever get anything that's not legal, but
right.
Everybody
it's your profession, right?
It is, and everybody's surprised of how legal it is. But the new computer age and computer world, everybody's social can be found in a minute. But it is only granted to people that have access that don't abuse it.
Right.
That's the only thing, which is really, really good about that. But, also everybody needs to listen to their gut. I always train my women, look, sometimes don't listen to your heart, which is emotional. Sometimes don't listen to your education, which is your brain. And sometimes don't listen to the emotions. Listen to your gut. And if your gut tells you something is wrong, it is most likely right.
Mm-hmm.
And it always has been with me. If I walk into a situation or I make a phone call or something and I'm just like, look, something's not right about this, then I usually hang up the phone and reevaluate or do something else because my gut is just screaming at me about something else.
Yes, it's when we don't do that we end up in trouble.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
When you were building your company, I'm sure you had fears. You're a young woman with a child. How did you overcome your anxiety and fears of building a business?
I just accepted the fact that in my business, unlike other people's, but maybe other people's, is everybody's my client. So I had these really jam-up, good-looking business cards that I love a lot, and they're plastic. And everywhere I go, I would give everybody a business card. No matter what, the bus driver, the clerk, the trash man, the attorney, the newspaper guy, and they were just, oh, wow, that's what you do? Cool. The UPS man, and I would give them my card, and they would always keep my card, and that generated so much business because they never know when they need you.
Mm-hmm.
So the tip I would say, if you invest in something, please invest in a good card that you could introduce to somebody, and always make yourself available for new groups to go speak to them, because you never know in what arena somebody's going to need you for a good contract or who's going to pass your name along. And, it never hurts to give somebody a card. They almost feel like they're giving something free. Now, if you give away a card that's not plastic but it's a regular cardstock card, you can always turn it over and give somebody a discount. Anybody that calls off this card, give them this code and a 20% discount between this date and this date, so they feel like they got a coupon.
Right. I've used that myself many times in business.
Yeah, they think that's the coolest thing with the coupons. And I still believe in snail mail as some advertisements. People do look at it, but I think if you do a bright pink or a bright yellow or a bright bronze, they open that more than they do anything else, even if it's junk mail.
Yes, it's important to try different approaches to get in front of people. The Internet is fantastic, but there's also direct mail and, of course, in-person networking, and it all works together.
Right. Everybody nowadays should have an electronic face.
Mm-hmm.
No matter if you invest $500 or $5,000 or $50,000, you have to have an electronic face now because everybody's going to the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Before, sometimes they pick up the phone. So, I had to bite the bullet probably 4 years ago to do a website. Now we're redoing it, and that's been a task. But in doing that, I've found out that that is the most phenomenal thing. Plus, people go to it even after they hire you to see how your website or / your house is built.
Mm-hmm. And I can attest that your website is something to behold.
Oh, the new one?
The new one is just fabulous.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
I want a site like that. So
yes.
You'll definitely have to give out your domain name to the moms out there so they can go see how a really good site looks.
That I would love to do that. I would welcome any businesses, and if anybody calls off this article or this interview, they can just say, I heard you, and I can give them a 10% discount.
Okay, excellent. So what about the moms that don't live in the state of Georgia? What recommendations would you give to them as far as finding a good private investigator, should they ever have the need to have one?
Well, we do. We have contacts international, so we're in the groups. As far as recommendation, I would recommend that they call us because we've already screened some of those private investigators in California or New Mexico or Canada, and some of our licensing does go further out there. I mean, I can still do a research or a surveillance in California. So we can still handle that, and I can also give good recommendations out there for those investigators. So I can handle an investigation pretty much international-wide. So I don't just handle Georgia.
Well, it's nice that the moms have somebody that they can talk to about this that's a mom and understands. So, you can either help them directly or point them in the right direction, and I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, to finish up, is there any tips or anything that you want to share with the moms that have helped you over time, either in your business life or your family life or time management? Anything in particular that you like that works for you?
I guess everything nowadays is on time management, and to have still a calendar, an electronic calendar, where you actually take and focus with your staff or likewise your spouse and sit down and go over those tasks have really helped. But having a spouse has really helped me because it's almost like we have to take 30 minutes for our spouse even when our children are running around. So I actually set a time every day that I meet with my spouse. Of course, it could be a roommate or it could be a staff person where I actually shut the door and it's just me and them time, and we go over everything that needs to be done. And that has helped me focus. I also have a life coach that helps me focus. Her name is Lisa Dalton, and that life coach helps me both personally and helps me with my business and my home life. So she really, really helps me be focused, and I know that is money each month, but it's a write-off for me. But there's all types of life coaches out there. I know that you probably know a few too, but the life coaches that coach just about everything that help you has really helped me get my business off the ground and be focused.
Well, for the moms out there that are not in a position to afford the life coach, my recommendation is to create your own mastermind group. And I've been in a couple of them. I found one recently. We started this year, and it has just catapulted my business. And the difference between the first mastermind I was part of, and actually still am, and the second one was business focused. The first one ended up kind of being almost like a lunch club. It's like girlfriends from the area. We were trying to be business-like, but at the end of the day, we were more friends. So my suggestion would be, if you decide to start a mastermind group, you find people that are in your field, whatever it is that you're interested in doing or are currently doing. Find other business owners that can add value to the conversation to actually grow your business. And it doesn't cost a penny. So we meet twice a month. And I've had life business coaches in the past as well, and I think they're wonderful too, don't get me wrong, but I was just speaking for the moms that might not have the budget yet. But that's right. You brought up a great point, that it really does help to hear outside opinions.
Mm-hmm. It really, really does. It really helps. Because the life coaches, even though they're kind of expensive and some aren't, they keep that focus for you as far as like, okay, last week we talked about this and these were the goals. Did you set this? Did you do that? They help you be responsible and accountable. that other entrepreneurs otherwise, as moms, we know we're accountable and responsible for our children every day, and our spouses and our family, or even if you're a single parent. But when you have another person as an outlet that helps you be accountable for yourself, really makes you recognize other tools in your toolbox that you can use that otherwise you didn't think you could use, or you knew they were there. I know another wonderful thing that really helps me, and I've just gotten into it, is I have literally gotten books online and books by CD that I pop in my CD when I drive all these places. And I've really listened to these books and listened to these self-help things while I'm driving, and I'll re-listen to it and re-listen to it. And don't get me wrong, I love music. I love music, and I really think everybody should put music on their website too, which is really fun. But listening to this and the driving that we do, I hear it over and over and over, and it just comes instantaneously, and this really helps that time. So that has been a lot of fun.
I call it a university on wheels.
Yes, that's a lot of fun, University on Wheels, and it's just been great. And also, I don't think we should, when we're doing marketing, we shouldn't get away from the music industry. I've got a new website master person that's helping me music-wise to give out pins and have, how Law and Order goes, da-da-da-da, and MASH was like, da-na-na-na-na-na, and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get a signature sound for my business, which has really been different. So I've enjoyed that endeavor.
Picking that out. That's fantastic. That's great. Then that becomes part of your brand.
Yes, branding. There we go. I was looking for the word. Yes, branding my business. That's a good way to brand your business.
Well, I think you kind of stick out anyhow, being a female, being a mom. Mm-hmm. You're not the average Joe that you would expect out of a private eye.
No, I'm
you
not.
could just keep capitalizing on that, and I'm just really impressed with everything you've overcome and what you continue to create, and you just get better and better. And it's a privilege for me to know you, and I'm glad that we were able to share your story with all the other moms on fire out there. Mm-hmm. And would you like to give out your domain name so that people can find you?
I would. It's kind of different, but it's www.martinelliinvestigations.com. Martinelli ends in an I. Investigation starts with an I, so it's two I's with an S on the end. MARTINELLI investigations.com. You can communicate with me there. We're doing giveaways and contests and scholarships on my website, so that's really cool as far as students and stuff like that, and contests in my industry. Anybody can enter the contest. And then also my number is 24/7, listed on the website as 770-337-3999, and you can call 24/7, even California time.
Wow, that's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Robin, so much for being on the show today.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for calling me.